Hello everyone, my name is Lawton Ho here with Verified Investing, back with another Pro Charts video. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking a little bit about the landscape of the cryptocurrency, the state of cryptocurrency in general. So we're going to start by talking about Bitcoin, move on to Ethereum, XRP, and then if we have some more time, we'll look at like Pengu and some potentially smaller coins. But what I'd first like to talk about is Bitcoin. Right, this is the daddy of all cryptocurrency, right? And it has been trading in this nice kind of bearish upsloping parallel channel. You can see how I connected it through the bottom, but it has recently broken it, come back in it, broken it, come back in it, and retrace. So, well, one thing we can do is either elect to kind of lower or adjust that parallel or just leave it as it is. And something interesting, if we kind of adjust this parallel, see if we put a parallel like this, and then go like kind of like this, and extend this back just a little more, looks like we have that really, really nice parallel that it's still kind of trading in, just a slightly different parallel. So with this nice move up, right, we've had a nice push up this month, approximately up 8% from the lows on the 29th, about just over a week ago. Right now, the question is, where could Bitcoin end up going? And the answer is not as simple as it seems, right? It's easy to say, oh, it's going to 100K, but the truth is, or it's going to 50K, but the truth is that it's all going to depend on the war, right, with Iran and the rest of the markets, right? Cryptocurrency is kind of like a risk on asset, meaning when there's a lot of fear in the market like there is now, you're expecting a fall in these risk on assets, whether it's meme stocks or cryptocurrency like this, right? Expecting kind of a pullback. But so far, a nice push up. For me, what I'm watching is the midline of this parallel. So resistance around $72,000 to $73,000. Ultimately, we will, if we're going to get a move back up towards its glory days, right, past the $100,000 level where it was literally trading at just in October, right? October, November of last year. We're going to have to get past a couple humps in the road. First hump is this $76,000, the pivot high all the way from the 17th of March, about a month ago, the highest price that the stock got in that month. Next level afterwards, if it continues higher, will be this kind of consolidation around the $80,000 level, and then you have a bunch of resistance around the $90,000 level. But the fact that we're trading in an upsloping parallel channel is actually bearish for the cryptocurrency. So something to watch: if Bitcoin comes down and breaks, right, breaks this upsloping parallel channel, there may be an opportunity to short. You can either enter on the break or on the retrace and look for a move lower. Now, the question is, where is Bitcoin likely to find support if it continues to fall, right? Just to get to this pivot low, the lowest point it's been all year would be a move, let's see how much, 14% lower. Right, you can see that the support level is 60,000, nice psychological level, and it also pairs up with all this kind of sideways consolidation. But you have an additional levels of support around 55,000. This nice pivot low around 50,000. So these are ultimately the levels that we're going to be watching on Bitcoin if it begins to fall and break down. Similarly with Ethereum, right, we can immediately see kind of a similar pattern. Let me delete these past kind of drawings. And here on Ethereum, you also have kind of an upsloping trend line slash bear flag, right? Down move followed by upward sideways consolidation. This is bearish, guys, favoring a move lower. Now, if Bitcoin falls, so will Ethereum, undoubtedly, right? But the question is, where is it likely to find support? First level, pivot low from the 29th of March, similar to the one we talked about earlier on Bitcoin, $1,750. Pivot low from the 6th of February, the lowest price it got this year, coinciding with all these lows. And then finally, you have this nice Liberation Day low down here all the way around $1,400. If Ethereum can break this bear flag and start to come down, these are the 3 levels of support that I'm personally going to be watching on Ethereum. Next up, we can talk a little bit about XRP. Now, XRP, unlike Bitcoin, has a little bit of a different chart, right? Although it did have a down move and potentially upsloping, parallel channel there, it's not quite the same. You can, kind of draw upsloping trend lines, but this key upsloping trend line already has broken. And this is what I mean by enter on our retrace. It broke down, came back up, and then you saw the retrace, and then there's your 11% fall. So we know this trend line is good, that this is a solid level of resistance. So let's say XRP continues higher. You could actually look on a short on XRP somewhere around the $1.57, $1.60 region. Right, $1.60 region. Those are definitely places that you can look for a short on XRP. If it continues to push up, next levels of resistance, and you could just wait for this pivot high up here around $1.60. There's another pivot high here around $1.67, and then a lot of resistance right here around $1.90. It's going to be key psychological level there. Key psychological level there on XRP. Now, if XRP turns around and begins to kind of fall, right, where are the levels of support for XRP? Well, for me, the key level of support is going to be down here, just around this $1.11 mark. Down here, you should find some support on XRP if it continues to fall, 17% lower. And then, if you go all the way back, we're already past the Liberation Day lows, right? You're looking at levels around 50 cents and then $1, right? So $1, then 50 cents. These are the levels of support that I'm targeting on XRP. And finally, I'm going to be covering a little bit of Pengu, right? Pengu, this has been one of my favorite charts to kind of look at and trade. It's kind of a meme crypto, but there's some utility. If you walk around Target or Walmart, even, they actually sell products. So they've utilized their IP, their intellectual property, pretty well here. But for me on Pengu, what I'm watching is a couple key trend lines. Namely this one. This is one that we're actually testing today. And if you extend this even further out, you're creating kind of an inverse head and shoulders pattern, like so. It's not the best one because this right shoulder is kind of small, but it's still valid. Right. First thing I want to do is find that measured move. Like Drew says, what is going to be the measured move here on Pengu? A move up about 100%, right, would be the measured move, a doubling of your position there. So how could I play this? Well, you can enter a potential long on this. Let's say you break up from this downsloping trend line, which is on your screen, which it's doing now. And just like I talked about those shortable levels on the trend lines, you either enter on a break or on that retrace, looking for a move higher. Should Pengu continue to fall, a couple of key levels of support. First is over there at 0.0053, and then you have additional support down here at 0.0047 or just 0.005. Right, so plenty of levels of support if you begin to fall on Pengu. But this is a little more of a risky trade because it's kind of a meme cryptocurrency. But at the end of the day, the prices of all of these cryptocurrencies, Ethereum, XRP, Pengu, they're all going to be predicated on the price of Bitcoin, which is going to follow the broader market atmosphere, environments, as well as the war, right? So we're going to have to stop, wait and see what happens to the rest of the crypto markets. But, should we see that final breakdown in Bitcoin, you could likely take a bunch of these little altcoins with it. All right. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this awesome new channel that we came up with. And I'll see you next time on Trader Pro Charts. Bye, guys.